Hey there, amazing viewers. Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we bring you your favorite manhwa recaps. Did you know that more than 90% of our viewers have not subscribed yet? So please, if you're enjoying our videos and want to be part of our awesome community, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. Joining our subscriber family means you'll never miss out on any of our exciting content. So, take a quick second to click that big red subscribe button below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay notified whenever we release a new video. Enjoy watching and stay awesome.
Gu Qingfeng, an ordinary transmigrator who works at the Demon Suppression Bureau who aims at being transferred one day far away from the demon prison and the demons from it. He never expected that one day he would find it enjoyable to stay there and enjoy the beatings. One day, he entered the demon prison and saw a demon with the looks of a beautiful lady. The lady demon was begging to release her from the prison, but he knew he was under an illusion, and if he released the demon it would suck his blood dry. Many of Gu Qingfeng's subordinates have died at the hands of the lady demon. The lady demon commanded him, but his sense of mind will not be affected by the demon's enchantment. The lady demon is frustrated that she cannot control the mind of Gu Qingfeng, thus she said that he will punish him for disobeying her orders. Finally, the lady demon's enhancement has worked on him by seducing him to open the door. He cannot resist the sexiness of the demon's face, and unlocked the door which the lady demon is being held at. As Gu Qingfeng unlocked the door, the demon jumped into him and bit him in the neck. The demon is wondering why he is not being controlled despite being bitten. Before being bitten by the demon, Gu Qingfeng's body detected that he would be attacked, hence, his enhanced defense system was officially activated. He finally regained consciousness, and heard a sound that kept disturbing him. Gu Qingfeng noticed that the demon was at his back. Shocked by what he saw and thought it was a ghost, he started running as quickly as possible. The demon followed him and attempted to attack him. As the lady demon rushed towards him, he was bitten in the neck once again and thought that it's done for him. Once he is bitten, he realizes that what's happening to him is not an illusion and there is actually a system. He called the system and the system answered. Only he can see the system. He asked the system what functions it has. The system spoke and said that the system is called the Become Stronger system, and its only function is that he will get stronger when attacked by the demons. If a demon attacked him, he cannot be harmed in all possible ways. Instead, he will become stronger. He is delighted by what he learned and thinks that he can walk through the demon prison with ease. The lady demon attacked him again, and he defended the attack by punching the demon. Gu Qingfeng was almost scared by the surprise attack of the demon. He said to the system to give him back the girl. Lady demon was once again frustrated because he dared to disrespect her. She rushed again towards him and grabbed him by the neck. Defense +2 is activated. Gu Qingfeng's system has continued to increase his defense because the demon attacked again. He started talking sarcasm on the demon, and the demon raged with anger. The lady demon once again is attempting to attack him with her range. Once the demon attacks, his system is activated again. He mocked her because he can't be affected by her attacks. Even if the demon has attacked him many times, he is not affected. The defense system is increasing every time the demon attacks him. Gu Qingfeng wonders why it keeps increasing as he adds more. The system said that if the host's defense increases, the damage inflicted by the demon on him decreases, so as the bonus decreases as well. So he realizes that he can't be invincible and needs to find stronger demons to attack him. The demon got slapped by him after he informed her she was useless and gave her the task of massaging his legs. The lady demon is frustrated because Gu Qingfeng still orders her to hit him. As she keeps hitting him, the host Gu Qingfeng's limit has been reached, thus it has gained a new talent, the bronze skin, iron bones. Then, he tells her that she's useless now. He grabbed her by the face. Gu Qingfeng asked why she hasn't changed back to her original form. Since the demon is disobedient, he thought that he should try his new gained talent. As he was about to try his talent, the demon panicky said she would transform immediately. The lady demon immediately transformed into its form. The demon cannot increase Gu Qingfeng's defense, so he ordered the demon to entertain him with a cool dance. Inside the prison, the demon dances with grace and sexiness. He taught her what to dance. After a few hours of dancing, the demon is exhausted and on the floor. He said to the demon to remember all the steps he taught her. Then he locked the door in the prison and told the demon to learn the dance quickly, and he will come back to check from time to time. He walked away from the prison and he went to the library. Gu Qingfeng said that the demon prison is divided into 3 levels. The first level detains low-level demons and cultists. The second level is for mid-level demons. Only demon hunters of yellow rank and above can enter. And finally, the third level demon is for high-level demons, that only demon hunters of mysterious rank and above can enter. He said you can only enter the demon prison if you provide a token. Gu Qingfeng can only be considered official if he becomes a yellow-ranked demon hunter, but for now he is just a temporary worker. He already decided to explore the first level. As he was about to explore, a man shouted that it's time for them to change shifts. He then changed his clothes and randomly asked the system if he was there and asked if self-cultivation is useful besides being attacked by demons. Gu Qingfeng thinks that it's easy to rely on oneself to ask others for help. He walked through the library to find and read a book. As he was searching, he finally found the book. He realized that the bronze skin is similar to the iron cloth shirt that strengthens the muscles and skins. The two complement each other, he spouted. He rushed towards the person in charge to borrow the book. He hurriedly left the library and went to his room. As he was reading the book and cultivating, he actually got in and managed to cultivate it. He is surprised by what happened. Gu Qingfeng easily did it in a matter of time while others took a decade of hard work. Gu Qingfeng is delighted because he already mastered the iron cloth shirt. One morning, he went to Zhang Jing to change for shifts. Zhang Jing was surprised because he was enthusiastic and also arrived earlier that day. Gu Qingfeng said that it's not like Zhang Jing is not half an hour late every time. He asked him if he realized that he finally decided to work hard. And to repay Zhang Jing for covering his shifts, he said that he will come an hour early every day to change shifts. Zhang Jing asked if it was true and wondered if Gu Qingfeng had taken the wrong medicine because of what he said. Gu Qingfeng happily said that it was true. They finally changed shifts and Zhang Jing said that he will treat Gu Qingfeng to a drink in the future. When Zhang Jing left, he quickly did what he was going to do and flipped the shift indicator. He sensed an aura in the door with shackles on it as he prepared to change shift signs. He noticed a demon's eyes when he opened the door's tiny window. When Gu Qingfeng abruptly became conscious while lying on a patch of green grass, he was startled and had no idea where he was. He asked himself where the location was as he stood up and noticed two people nearby. There are two people who are in the same location as he was. He looked up to the sky and noticed a red sun as he was enjoying the view due to its pleasant and serene surroundings. He was puzzled why it was red when all of a sudden, he noticed an eyeball on the sun. The red-eyed demon looked at him with a strong demonic aura. Gu Qingfeng trembled in fear. When he looked at the demon, his surroundings were full of skulls. Suddenly, a one-eyed demon appeared with a massive masculine body. The one-eyed demon was walking towards him and was about to step on him. Gu Qingfeng swiftly steered clear of the demon's enormous feet to prevent being run over. The demon attempted to attack him again and was about to grab him. His system has been activated because he was attacked by the eye demon. Gu Qingfeng's soul power has added +10. As he regained consciousness, all that happened to him was an illusion created by the demon. The demon commanded him to obey it and open the door. He was astounded by what he saw, and the prison door's lock was removed right away. Gu Qingfeng obeyed the demon and opened the door. The eye demon has gone out of its cell. Once he was free of the demon prison, the eye demon threatened him with retaliation. The demon is still partially within the prison. A blood drips from above upon damaging the eye demon. The eye demon is frustrated because Gu Qingfeng breaks free from its illusion. Gu Qingfeng mockingly said to the demon that it was bleeding and told him to come to take it from treatment. He told him to come again. The eye demon raged with anger as he was mocked again. The eye demon stared at him with an attempt to attack again. The demon said that it was unforgivable to mock him. The eye demon was careless just now. He wanted Gu Qingfeng to understand what cruelty. Attempting to attack Qingfeng, Qingfeng mocked the demon again and said that he did not hear what he said. Gu Qingfeng opened his eyes, and as soon as he opened it, he was under the illusion once again. The eye demon threatened him that he will torture him and he will regret coming to his world. Gu Qingfeng is overwhelmed with the sense of oppression even though he knew it was just an illusion. The demon commanded him to kneel down. His legs won't listen to him and obeyed the demon. He was struggling with the command of the demon and thought where's the system, and that he should wake him up. The system has been activated and sensed that he was attacked by the eye demon. His soul power increased by 10. The soul power breakthrough has gained its limit. Gu Qingfeng acquired the eye illusion technique. His eyes have been changed and he teared up because of the cool oil effect in the eyes. After acquiring the technique, the illusion of the demon has changed. Gu Qingfeng is the one sitting on the throne and the demon shrank to its original form. Gu Qingfeng used the demon as a subject to test his new acquired skills. The demon shuddered in fear that he might use his skill against him. He commanded the demon to come closer. The demon wondered if he actually took control of its eye technique. He snapped his fingers and went back to the demon prison. The demon begged to spare him repeatedly. He threw the demon back into the prison and its blood spurted everywhere. Gu Qingfeng said to the demon that he won't kill him since he has given him a new technique and told him to rest well, and that he will come again to visit. The demon shakingly asked if he would come again. Exiting the demon prison, Gu Qingfeng went to the library to gain knowledge about his new technique, the illusion magic. His new gain technique has two functions, controlling others and creating illusions. The technique can control the host target and the target will fall into the illusions created by the host. He read that the drawback of the illusion is that the hosts must make eye contact with the target and the target's spiritual power cannot be higher than the host. The illusion made by the host depends on his abilities. Gu Qingfeng ponders that it is a new acquired skill that can grow with him. He ponders that with his great spiritual energy, using the technique on the Kai gathering realm is not a problem. As Gu Qingfeng mentioned, the martial arts are divided into 5 major realms: Kai gathering realm, internal energy realm, true energy realm, gang energy realm, and innate realm. These 5 realms mentioned corresponded to the 5 levels of the Demon Hunter department. Each major martial arts realm is further divided into 9 major realms, known as the 1st to 9th heavens. The 9 presents the peak. Only after reaching the 9th heaven of the current realm can one break through and advance to the next realm. Gu Qingfeng wonders that his chances of winning are not high. After all, he is just a 3rd heaven of the Kai gathering realm. However, the system has made him invincible at the same level. He thought that what if he spent more days and cleared all 3 levels of the demon prison? Suddenly a voice from a demon came from a cell with a chain and lots of talismans. The old man from the cell asked him if he also came there to collect materials for the talisman. Gu Qingfeng asked what materials he was seeing, and the demon responded that it seems his demon hunter department has been in a tight battle recently. The demon from the cell opened his clothes and Qingfeng thought he was a pervert. The demon has released a wood-like material from his body. The demon asked him to take the material and he stuck his hand directly to get the material. The demon thinks that he is naive to stick his hand directly to the prison cell. Gu Qingfeng angrily asked if he was going to give it to him or not. The demon glanced and smirked at him while giving the material, and thought that the man had a sturdy figure. He thought that the demon gave him just a piece of tree bark. He smelled the wood-like material and gasped that it smelled like the talisman from the prison door. When he understands why the demon gave him a wood-like material, he realizes that the material given to him can be used to make talismans. He finally realized that the demon must be a tree demon that his body can be used to make talismans. It seems like the demon hunter department calls on him every few days to gather talismans. Since the tree bark can be used to make talismans, he knew that it should be worth something. Gu Qingfeng thought that speaking politely while taking advantage of others and their training seems inappropriate. As he was about to leave, the demon suddenly called him and told him that if he was not in a hurry to report, he would keep the demon company and have a chat. The demon told him that he has been locked up in a demon prison for years and hasn't had a conversation with anyone in years he spent in the prison. The old demon's life is coming to an end. He just wants a conversation with someone to relieve his frustrations. Gu Qingfeng came back and asked the man what he wanted to talk about. The demon began to tell him his story. His story started in a small village called Zhang Family Village. He said that the village was secluded and cut off from the outside world. There was a boy named Zhang Heng who accidentally planted a small locust tree from the village. As the demon is trying to make Qingfeng open the door, Qingfeng already entered the demon prison where the old man is held. Shocked by what Qingfeng did, the demon asked how he got in and why he wasn't afraid that he would eat him because he's a demon. He told the demon that he sensed that he is a good demon and listening behind closed doors doesn't feel real. The demon ponders why the man isn't following the rules and he hasn't finished his story yet. Gu Qingfeng told the demon to finish the story about what happened in the locust tree. The demon wonders again if he should continue following what he planned and tell the story or should he take direct action and attack Qingfeng. The demon continued his story about the locust tree. He said that the locust tree grew up and it became a monster and all the people in the Zhangheng village. As the demon finishes his story, Qingfeng didn't realize a bunch of tree trunks surrounding the prison, and he was about to be attacked by the demon. The demon changed into its original form and told Qingfeng that he would just eat him instead of telling a story. The demon attacked Qingfeng, but Qingfeng defended his attack rapidly. He is frustrated that the demon hasn't got professionalism and finishes the story first before attacking. The frustrated demon attacked again and told him that he will give him his nourishment. The demon told him that even when facing death he dared to fight him. Qingfeng was caught by the trunks of the tree demon. He mocked the demon to be more forceful because it's quite a challenge for him. Even if Qingfeng is tied by the tree trunks, he still sarcastically mocked the demon. Tree trunks cover Qingfeng's whole body including his head. The system has been activated due to the attack of the demon. The system informed him that he was attacked by a 100-year-old locust. Once the system is activated, the host's strength has exceeded the limit, gaining the power of the strength of 9 bulls and 2 tigers. The system worked and Qingfeng broke through the tree trunks he was coiled with. He smirked and the demon trembly told him not to get any closer. Qingfeng said to the demon to shout all he wanted, but no one will still save him. He attacked the demon and said to feel the fear. After the attack, the demon changed its form to an old man again and told Qingfeng that he was actually the locust tree. The demon told him that after the magic weapon turned him into a demon, the Demon Suppression Bureau has captured him and imprisoned until now. The demon was massaging Qingfeng as they were chatting about what happened to him. The demon told Qingfeng that the little demon who turned him into one was planted where the wood attribute magic weapon was buried underground. He said that it was nurtured day and night by the magic weapon, so he was able to take on a physical form. Qingfeng asked what kind of magic weapon it is, and it must be at least a mysterious magic weapon. The demon told Qingfeng that it has sharp eyes. He said that the term magic weapon refers to a powerful weapon with spiritual intelligence. They are divided into 4 levels: heaven, earth, mysterious, and yellow, said by the demon. The magic weapon used on the locust demon is called the Wood King Sword. It used to be a high-grade earth-level magic weapon 100 years ago. However, the weapon seems to be damaged and lost spiritually over the 100 years. The Wood King Sword has fallen to the lower level of the mysterious rank. Qingfeng realizes that the demon absorbs the sword's spirituality over the 100 years even though it's damaged. Qingfeng said to the demon to stop the flattery, and asked the demon where the Wood King Sword is hidden. The demon that after he has been captured, he hid the Wood King Sword to a place where only he knew about. Qingfeng was angry and told the demon not to beat around the bush and told him urgently. The demon told him that it was hidden in Shenshen Temple behind the Jiangheng village in Jixian country. He left the prison and went to the next place. Before he left, he told the demon that he would come back. The demon replied that he is welcome to come again next time and told him to have a safe journey. It is already dawn and Qingfeng wasted his time talking to the locust tree. It's too late to go to the place. After a while of spending time with the tree demon, Gu Qingfeng suddenly remembers and thinks of the little corpse sprite lady demon and wonders how she's doing with the poses he taught her. He went to the demon's prison cell with chains and talismans guarding it. Gu Qingfeng unlocked the door of the demon's cell. He happily greeted the demon with a smile and commanded the demon to change into a mature lady and put on a costume that resembles a courtesan. He also added that she should wear a red veil. The corpse sprite demon obeyed Gu Qingfeng without hesitation. She then changed into what Gu Qingfeng wanted and asked him if he was satisfied. He praised her repeatedly, telling her that she's good. Gu Qingfeng suddenly gasped and remembered something. He told the demon that he will be back. The corpse sprite demon gave Gu Qingfeng a love letter and said that he should accept it. The corpse sprite demon flushed and turned red as she expressed her liking for Senior Gu Qingfeng. Other girls were looking at them and chatting privately about how Senior Gu Qingfeng was being confessed at once. Gu Qingfeng replied to the girl who confessed to him and told her that he already has someone in his heart, and that belongs to their great motherland. Gu Qingfeng laughed and smiled proudly as other women praised him. He then snapped his fingers and all of his surroundings changed into the second scene of the illusion. A guard from outside is preparing to report something as the palace door opens. The guard told Gu Qingfeng that the leader of 7 nations had surrounded them. He told him that the 7 nations claimed that they want to marry Lord Gu Qingfeng. Noticing that women from different nations have already entered the castle, it has startled the guard. Different women from different nations are all saying that he should marry them. Many women from other countries are urging him to wed them. Gu Qingfeng smirked and wondered why everyone was enamored with his beauty. He told them not to fight and they can just live together. As the women kept calling him my lord, the illusion made by the demon started to fade away. He is confused that he came back to reality and saw the corpse sprite demon massaging him. He asked the eye demon why he dispelled the illusion as he was having a good time. The eye demon told him that it's time for his shift. Gu Qingfeng yawned and agreed to the eye demon while he patted the head of the corpse sprite demon. Both the demons inside and the door from which he entered were locked after he left the demon prison cell. He is distressed that pleasant moments always go fast. When they're about to change shifts, Zhang Zhang mentioned that the mountain road he encountered has 8 turns. Gu Qingfeng waved at him and asked why he was in a good mood. Zhang Zhang grabbed Gu Qingfeng's arms and told him that something happened at the Demon Suppression Bureau. Before informing him what had happened, he first had a look around. He told Gu Qingfeng that profound rank demon hunter Yang and his team went to the Bone Forest to slay demons, but unfortunately they were all slayed. Gu Qingfeng questioned him jokingly about whether he had enemies inside and asked as to why he was happy to see the entire army killed. Zhang Zhang replied that he should think that the branch of the Wudong Country Bureau has always been fully staffed, yet at that time 4 yellow rank demon hunters and 1 profound rank hunter had perished. And suddenly there are quite a few vaccines. Gu Qingfeng looked at him shockingly as he was sharing information. He told Zhang Zhang that even if yellow rank demon hunters have vaccines, it doesn't have anything to do with him because he is only at the 4th heaven of the Kai Gathering Realm. Zhang Zhang told him that they directly promoted Kai Gathering Realm disciple demon hunters to yellow rank demon hunters. He told him that to fill Yang's position, 1 yellow rank demon hunter is to be promoted. There is 1 vacancy to be promoted for yellow rank demon hunter. Gu Qingfeng asked if all the inner Kai Gathering Realm apprentice demon hunters had become regulars, what would happen to the remaining vacancy. Zhang Jing smirked. He told him that according to the tradition there will be a martial arts competition to be promoted. He said that the competition will select capable hunters to fill the vacancy and encourage them to cultivate their skill. Gu Qingfeng comprehended and thought of the competition. Zhang Jing told him that he just passed by and saw a lot of people signing up and that the competition is scheduled 3 days from now. Gu Qingfeng asked if only the 9th Gathering Disciple demons are only allowed to sign up for the competition. Zhang Jing replied that there are no restrictions made and 8 Heaven Kai Gathering Realms have also signed up for the competition. Gu Qingfeng happily ponders that if he can be promoted into a yellow-ranked demon hunter he can have the qualifications to freely exit and enter the 2nd floor of the demon prison. If he can access the 2nd floor freely he'll have contact with demons and monsters and cooperate with the system. He considered the contest to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He was warned by Zhang Jing that facing off against opponents of a high degree would not be simple and that the eventual champion would undoubtedly be chosen from the 9th-level cultivators of the Kai Gathering Realm. He also added that they should just focus on their work diligently and go home to rest early. Gu Qingfeng still asked Zhang Jing where they signed up despite the difficulties. Zhang Jing told him that people sign up at the Kai Righteous Hall. He thanked Zhang Jing for the information and left Zhang Jing wondering why he was asking about the competition. He thought if he joined the competition he would not have a chance against the martial artist because the system only works on demons, and participating in it can only cause attention that opposes his low-key nature. But as he was thinking about the techniques he gained, he knew that those abilities can stand against and crush the 9th layer gathering cultivation. He still thinks he can win because the limit of strength for 9th Heaven Kai Gathering Realm is 9,000 Jin, while on the other side he has 25,000 Jin of massive strength. As he was thinking of signing for the competition, Zhang Jing stared at him and asked if he was thinking of joining the competition. Gu Qingfeng mockingly retorted in response to him. Qingfeng was made fun of by Zhang Jing for considering entering the challenge without knowing the other participants. He confidently spouted that as long as he wins, everyone will shut their mouths. Surprised by what he said, Zhang Jing thought that Qingfeng had been cool about the situation. Gu Qingfeng left urgently and Zhang Jing shouted if he was bewitched by the demons to act like that. When Gu Qingfeng left, Zhang Jing talked to himself and wondered when Qingfeng had become agile and he would just check the manual to think of a way to stop him. Currently at the Righteous Hall, where participants line up to sign up for the competition, they will ask your name, cultivation level and position. Hu Banking, a 9th Heaven of Kai Gathering Realm with the position of 7 Squads Demon Hunter, has also signed up for the competition. As he was stating his name, other demon hunters gossip about him being single-handedly perishing an iron-armored zombie. They are amazed by what he's done because only internal energy realm experts can do that at their level, and that he will be a perfect candidate for promotion to a yellow-ranked demon hunter. Bai Ma Ming, the descendant of the white horse with a silver spear, also participated. The hunters said that if they knew he was coming, they wouldn't have signed up in the first place. The next person showed up and appears to be only a 7th Heaven of Kai Gathering Realm. He introduced himself as Ikshu, a 7th Heaven of Kai Gathering Realm and a 12th Squad trainee demon hunter. When questioned if he was certain he wanted to register, he answered in the affirmative. Surprised by what others heard, they gossiped that he dares to participate in the contest even if he is just a 7th Heaven of Kai Gathering Realm. They mocked him as being a foolish dreamer. Even a person from the 8th Heaven Kai Gathering does not dare to join the competition. Ikshuan heard them and told them that they are a bunch of narrow-minded people, and if victory or defeat is based on the cultivation level of the person, why bother with martial arts if a person can just display his cultivation level? He also added that they lack courage to challenge themselves and dare to mock others. One of the men answered Ikshuan's statement and told him that at least he has self-awareness, unlike someone who lacks insight. Suddenly, a man shouting in the midst of the crowd who appears to be Gu Qingfeng agreed to what Ikshuan said. All the people in the hall looked at him, and as he was walking toward Ikshuan he told him that his courage is truly admirable, and he was inspired. Gu Qingfeng spouted that he hesitated to register at first because his cultivation level is low. But when Ikshuan registered and led the way, he finally gained courage to register and join the excitement. Ikshuan praises Qingfeng for being bold and commended his courage. He told them that even if their cultivation level is low, as martial artists they should have courage to face challenges and not fear stronger opponents. Ikshuan spoke with confidence and motivated them as he told them not to be scared to draw swords when encountering a person with a high cultivation level. Others were moved by what he said and were motivated to register. Gu Qingfeng extends his hand and tells Ikshuan that if they banded together, regardless of their rank, they would probably become well known. He timidly added that he was only at the 3rd Heaven Kai Gathering Realm. Ik Xuan and the others are shocked by what he said. One of the men commented that if he wants to die there are other ways and does not need to humiliate himself by registering. He replied jokingly and said that they don't need to worry and that he has some confidence he brought coming to register. He went and registered and told the man in charge what his rank and position was. One evening in the dark forest, Gu Qingfeng rode a horse and thought that he needed a useful spiritual weapon to use. He rode a horse and went to find the wooden king sword that the tree demon mentioned. He thought that it was only the best choice as of the moment. As he was on his way, he grasped and saw a green energy ball which contained the wooden king sword. He contemplates that there are demons surrounding the treasure, but is confident that he can pass because the demons are his experience points. He stood at the body of the horse and jumped high to reach the treasure. He grabbed it, and once he opened his hands, a firefly was what he saw. Gu Qingfeng said that the fireflies from their world are like ghostly eyes and only a fleeting moment of joy. He then praises that the environment from that world is amazingly beautiful. He was walking through the dark forest and hadn't encountered a single demon. Gu Qingfeng arrived at the temple, and as the locust tree demon said, the wooden king sword is buried 1/3 of the way into the ground in the backyard of the mountain temple in Jiangheng village. He entered the temple and went straight to the backyard and saw a big tree. He conspired that it was such a big tree, and that it's probably going to be another locust tree demon over the years. He got ready to dig by hauling out his tools. As he dug, he came across massive stones and soils at the location of the wooden king's sword. After several hours of digging, he eventually discovered a brown box where the sword is probably concealed. When King Feng opened the container, he was disappointed to find a plain wooden sword inside. He thought that it was just a self-made sword by the locust tree demon. As he was holding the sword, he noticed that it had a rough texture, but still decided to try it. He started by subjecting the sword to the shovel's test. The wooden sword unexpectedly snapped as he struck the shovel. Gu Qingfeng is shocked that the wooden sword had broken, but the shovel is fine. He believed the demon had conned him and would chop off its head when he returned, which made him furious. Suddenly, the wooden king's sword has abruptly taken on its original shape. The soil had absorbed the shattered sword piece, and then immediately tree branches emerged from the ground. Massive branches came out and attacked Gu Qingfeng. Some branches are held into the sword which Gu Qingfeng holds. Gu Qingfeng is confused about what is happening. As he swung the wooden king's sword, it destroyed a part of the tree. He then realizes the proper way to use the wooden king's sword. According to the locust tree demon, the sword recognizes its owner by dipping blood on it. As he was about to cut his hands, a small piece of wood from the sword fell. He was surprised by what happened and started to get dizzy. The wooden king's sword reacted and long stems came out. It attacked Gu Qingfeng and entered his body. A red energy surrounded Gu Qingfeng. He did not know that spiritual weapons are not easily mastered. If a person wants to control it, has to have corresponding strength. Otherwise, during the process of mastering the weapon, the spiritual weapon may absorb the owner to death. Gu Qingfeng is irritated that the spiritual weapon is still absorbing from him. He used his skill to stop the sword from absorbing him. The word retracts and Qingfeng breaks free. It has been known that at least a martial artist in the internal energy realm is needed to control spiritual weapons and meet the qualifications of spiritual weapons absorption. Gu Qingfeng, who is at the Kai gathering realm, can only offer the spiritual weapons absorption through blood sucking. But if it weren't for his unique cultivation, he would have turned into a dried-up corpse during its process. Gu Qingfeng cultivated. The system showed up and released information about the wooden king's sword. The system said that due to the long-term lack of owner and absorption of spiritual energy from demons, the wooden king's sword has become a lower-grade spiritual weapon. The system also added that with the proper nurturing and care from the owner, it can return to being a high-grade spiritual weapon. The wooden king's sword has a special skill which helps it regenerate after being damaged. Gu Qingfeng realizes that the locust tree demon did not deceive him and the wooden king's sword is in fact powerful. As a reward, Gu Qingfeng thinks of finding an opportunity to release the locust tree demon from the Demon Suppression Bureau where demons are imprisoned. He thought that it would suffer even if the demon is kept in the prison. He thinks that the locust tree demon will be a good nourishment for the wooden king's sword. Rain started pouring from above and he went inside the temple. He hurriedly came inside the temple and closed the doors. At the temple, he saw a statue of a god with no head. He read in the manual that the mountain god is worshipped by people, gathering the power of all beings, possessing certain abilities to expel evil and avoid calamities. Gu Qingfeng realizes that therefore, once the statue of a mountain god is broken, it implies the appearance of a powerful demon which disregards the power of the mountain god's statue. He did not expect to encounter demons on the way, but he thought that he would find something valuable in the mountain temple. He created a bonfire and cooked a pancake that tasted awful. As he was resting inside the temple, he heard footsteps. He thought that it was demons. A person spoke and said that they will settle inside the temple temporarily. The temple's door opened and 3 people entered. Gu Qingfeng greeted them and was glad that they were not demons. The bald man spoke and told the woman that the mountain temple is safe and they will be right next to her to guard and protect her. The woman told the guards that Uncle Xing will stay with her and arrange the rest, and the subordinates replied politely. The guards stayed outside and Gu Qingfeng thinks that the guard is a show-off. Many guards were staying outside the temple to protect it in case something happened. The woman greeted Gu Qingfeng with a smile. Gu Qingfeng smiled and replied to the woman. A piece of silver has been thrown over to Gu Qingfeng. A guard told him that he should take the silver and find another place to stay as the place was overcrowded. Gu Qingfeng thinks it was absurd because he found the place first. He ate the awful pancake and told the guard it was not enough silver and told him to add more. The guard told him to state his price and Gu Qingfeng replied that he needs 24 taels of silver. The guard told Gu Qingfeng that it was too much and not to be greedy. Gu Qingfeng sensed a true energy realm from the man. If the opponent is from an internal energy realm, he could still fight it, but the person in front of him was from the true energy realm. The woman spoke and told the guard that Gu Qingfeng arrived first and should not make him leave. She told him not to worry about her family since they behave irresponsibly and asked him not to worry about them. Gu Qingfeng replied jokingly and said that it's okay and if they really cannot consider the 24 taels of silver he was demanding, and jokingly added if they can negotiate for 20 taels. The women replied laughing and said to him not to joke around. It's nighttime and the rain is pouring heavily outside and there is a possibility that monsters and demons are lurking. He thanked the woman with her kindness for letting him stay at the temple. Gu Qingfeng thinks that there is nothing to fear from monsters and demons and that he should have accepted the 2 taels of silver earlier. As they were resting inside, the guards from outside had already been killed. The young woman offered Gu Qingfeng to eat together. The guard whispered and said that they don't have enough food. Gu Qingfeng told the woman that he'll be respectful and accept her offer. As she was giving him the food, she blushed and smiled at Qingfeng. Her guards angrily looked at him and Gu Qingfeng told them to stay calm. Gu Qingfeng thanked the young woman for being kind-hearted and told her that he will remember what she's done that brought them together. He asked the woman what he could call her. She told him her name was CY and also asked him his name. He told her his name and asked where they were headed. She told him that her father was recently transferred into Wudong village, and now her father's settled. He asked her to go and find him. The woman happily said that she did not expect Gu Qingfeng to be from Wudong village and asked him if he could introduce him to local customs of the country. Gu Qingfeng happily replied and said she asked the right person. Just as he was talking, the guard sensed something from outside. He went to the door and told them to keep quiet. The guard told him to protect CY and that he will go outside to look at what's happening. The subordinates surrounded Lady CY to protect her and the guard hurriedly went outside to check. As he jumped outside to look, he saw the other guards were already killed. The guard realizes that there are no signs of a fight, and the guards outside who protect the temple were directly killed. The bald man who went outside saw a man standing at the roof of the temple. A demon appeared and called him the Old Ghost King. The demon uttered that he made it difficult to find him along the way. The demon came down the roof and told the Old Ghost King that he did not expect to take a shortcut instead of the official road. He sarcastically told him that he was taking risks. He came down on the back of the Old Ghost King. Old Ghost King realizes that he is the blood demon sect's Whitebone elder. The demon replied, smirking, that he had some insight. He told the Old Ghost King that as long as he hands over Sea King Yun's daughter, he will spare his life, even if it causes his death. The Old Ghost King told the demon that he won't let him lay a finger on the girl. Everyone inside the temple heard what the man said. Gu Qingfeng curiously thinks about what is a blood demon sect and the elder Whitebone. CY asked her subordinates what is the blood demon sect and the elder Whitebone, that it seems like Xing Shui, the Old Ghost King, who fears him. The subordinate told CY that the blood demon sect is a cult formed by martial artists who worship demons, and added that the members of it are all lunatic. He also added that they also practice demon magic in order to pursue powerful strength and long life, attempting to transform themselves as demons. The members of the sect can neither be distinguished as human nor demon. The Elder Whitebone is known as one of the high-ranking members, a powerful expert at the gang energy realm, and also the successor of the corpse refining lineage. CY is shocked by what she heard and faints. Gu Qingfeng caught CY in his arms when she's about to faint and asked her if she was okay. CY thanked Gu Qingfeng for his kindness. She is questioning herself why the blood demon sect wants to capture her. She thinks that it's because of her father. Her subordinates told CY that the reason her father became the governor of Wudong country is because he recently solved a major case that involves the blood demon sect. He added that the blood demon sect must want to capture her to use her as a leverage against her father. Gu Qingfeng did not expect CY to turn out as a daughter of a high-ranking official. Gu Qingfeng asked the guards if the members of the Blood Demon sect are human or demons because dealing with monsters and demons is his expertise in the field. That's why he needs to confirm it. He introduced himself formally by telling them that he is a demon hunter from the Wudong County Demon Suppression Bureau. CY was glad of what she heard and told him that he did not expect Gu Qingfeng to be from the Suppression Bureau. She told him that she heard that demon hunters from the Demon Suppression Bureau are greatly skilled in dealing with demons and asked Gu Qingfeng if he has a way to deal with the Elder White Bone from the outside. The guards laughed and mockingly said, what would Gu Qingfeng do if he is just a junior demon hunter, the lowest rank, and his cultivation is low and only at the Kai gathering stage? After the guard said, CY urges Gu Qingfeng not to go outside and let Xing Shui and the guards protect them. Gu Qingfeng replied that she does not need to worry about him and only wants to know whether the Elder White Bone is a demon or human. The guard said that they are half human and half demons with transplanted demon organs. Gu Qingfeng asked the system if the half demons could harm him. The system replied that he won't get stronger just by being attacked by half demons. He was devastated by what he heard and told the system that it was useless. He panically said that if those guards guarding them can't protect and defeat the Elder White Bone, he would suffer as well, and that he shouldn't have talked if he had known. The doors from the temple had been opened, and a demon who resembled a zombie appeared in front of them. The guards stood by as the demon was standing in front of them. Gu Qingfeng thinks that if it was a zombie, and if they are similar to the little corpse sprite demon, a bunch of zombies who are likely made by the Elder White Bone have swarmed inside the temple. The guards protected CY and Gu Qingfeng and plotted to make a barrier. One of the guards told the other one that he alone can't fight the zombies, but still he insisted. The other guard tries to fight all the zombies alone to create time for the other guard to make a barrier. The one making the barrier sat to focus on creating it. Gu Qingfeng can't deal with the Elder White Bone because it's half human, but he can deal with the zombies easily. As the other guard is creating a barrier, a zombie comes behind CY. It was about to attack CY, but gladly the barrier was completed in time. The barrier is complete and successful. The guards did not expect a bronze-armed demon to be tough to fight. As long as CY is fine, the guards wouldn't mind the difficulties. Zombies continue to attack and enter the temple. Xing Shui and the Elder White Bone continue to have a bloody fight outside the temple. Xing Shui tried to kill some of the zombies while fighting Elder White Bone, but the half-demon told him that don't expect to succeed because he is his opponent. The sword of Xing Shui fell into the ground. While the Elder White Bone spouted that none of them can escape, Xing Shui released his massive strength. He attempted to attack the Elder White Bone. The Elder White Bone mocked him if he wanted to fight to death alone. As Xing Shui striked, the Elder White just smiled. Unfortunately, even with the massive strength brought out by Xing Shui, he was blown off with the Elder White Bone's power. Xing Shui struggled and started coughing blood and spouted that the demon had actually turned himself into a silver-armed demon. He stared at the Elder White Bone as he was speaking. The Elder White Bone told him that he possesses the power of the zombie, and commended them as being perfect because they are impenetrable to knives and guns and have boundless strength. He added that the zombies only need to feed on fresh blood to exist. CY and Gu Qingfeng saw Xing Shui and the Elder White Bone. The Elder White Bone saw them and sarcastically said that they still have energy even though they are swarmed by zombies. Xing Shui cannot fight and has weakened. He told CY to hurriedly leave. Gu Qingfeng asked the system if the zombies are considered to be demons and cannot believe that people can actually turn themselves as demons. He is determined to show them what he is capable of. CY is confused about what Qingfeng is saying about sanctity. Gu Qingfeng meant nothing to what he said and thanked CY for the food he gave her earlier. As the repayment for her kindness, he told CY that he will deal with the Elder White Bone. The guard who made the barrier told CY not to believe Gu Qingfeng, and all he spouted was nonsense. Gu Qingfeng told the guard to step aside and immediately exit the barrier. CY was worried after Gu Qingfeng left the barrier. A number of zombies surrounded him and attempted to attack him. His sword fell on the ground and Miss CY was shocked by what happened. The guard thought that Gu Qingfeng was buying them time to escape. The guard who made the barrier apologizes for underestimating him, and that he won't forget Gu Qingfeng's kindness. As Gu Qingfeng is attacked by the zombies who are considered to be a demon, the system activates and increases his defense. They saw the demon sphere heading towards the door and thought that Gu Qingfeng might still be alive. The zombies still keep attacking him. As the zombies attack, his defense has exceeded its limit. His skill technique, bronze skin, iron bones, has evolved into an adamantine body. The guards are amazed that Gu Qingfeng truly protected them and spoke the truth. The Elder White Bone is confused about what's happening. Gu Qingfeng's power has continued to increase and managed to fight all the zombies by himself. The Elder White Bone looked at him furiously. Gu Qingfeng looked at the elder white bone with a smile. The elder white bone raged with anger. He told Gu Qingfeng that he is an arrogant person that does not even dodge when faced with the bone of evil fire. He added that no matter how high Gu Qingfeng's cultivation level or how strong his physical body, he cannot withstand the bone evil fire. The bone evil fire is made from bones of thousands of people, and as well as bones of thousands of demon beasts from the internal energy realm that took years to refine. The elder white bone told him that it specializes in corrupting the physical body and soul. And just as he was about to finish his sentence, Gu Qingfeng talked and said that the bone evil fire is warm. The elder white bone looked at him with confusion. The system activates again because Gu Qingfeng has been attacked by the bone of evil fire. The system congratulated him that he has acquired the innate ability to control fire. Gu Qingfeng was attacked again by the bone evil fire, and the fire control evolved into fire mastery. He easily shrugged off the fire created by the bone evil fire, and the elder white bone looked at him and shouted that it's impossible that someone can actually resist the bone evil fire and not die. Gu Qingfeng acquired the bone evil fire, and the elder white demon who refined it through the years has been deprived of it. The elder white bone tried to use the bone evil fire, but it does not work for him anymore. He is frustrated that after all the years it took for him to refine it, Gu Qingfeng just takes it away from him. Gu Qingfeng told the elder white bone that he will give it back. The elder white bone started running, and Gu Qingfeng attacked him with the bone evil fire. As the elder white bone looked back, a fire from behind had been thrown to him. The bone evil fire perished the elder the white bone. They saw Xing Shui lying on the ground and were concerned about him. The elder white bone has completely perished, and the bone evil fire has been taken back by Gu Qingfeng. They called out Xing Shui, and he replied that he was okay and did not need to worry. As Gu Qingfeng was minding his business, Miss CY called him. He asked him if she was okay, and CY agreed. They cannot believe that the elder white bone has turned into ashes. Gu Qingfeng suddenly realized and thought that there is no way to loot the elder white bone because it has turned into ashes. A peak-level expert of the Kai Gathering realm must have countless treasures in their storage ring that includes spiritual weapons, elixirs, secret martial arts, manual, gold, and silver. As Gu Qingfeng was pacing out, CY asked him if he was okay. Gu Qingfeng agreed, and CY noticed that he was looking at her breast and blushed. The guards and Xing Shui looked at them and thought their Miss CY had started to fall for Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng thinks highly of himself that no woman can resist someone as handsome and powerful as him. Gu Qingfeng told them that they should eat because the barbecue earlier was delicious and it would be a pity if it turned out to be a waste. The guard told Gu Qingfeng that he just killed a peak-level expert at the Kai Gathering realm, yet he still thinks of only eating barbecue. Gu Qingfeng replied and said that the universe is immense, but the biggest thing is eating. Miss CY repeated what Gu Qingfeng said and told her uncle Xing Shui to take his time resting. They all went inside the temple. Gu Qingfeng grabbed wood to start a fire. Xing Shui, the old ghost king, called Gu Qingfeng Sr. and Grandmaster and thanked him for saving their lives even though he was ignorant and disrespectful in their first encounter. Gu Qingfeng humbly replied that he is just a demon hunter from the Demon Suppression Bureau and it is his duty to slay demons. Besides, Miss CY's barbecue is indeed delicious, he added. Xing Shui was astounded about what he said. Xing Shui laughed and said that it was his impoliteness and thanked him. Xing Shui told him that he was the steward of Lord King Yun, the newly appointed magistrate of the Wudong County, and Miss CY is his young lady. He grabbed Gu Qingfeng's arms and grasped. Xing Shui brought out a token with a Wudong County written on it. Xing Shui said that if ever he will face trouble in the future, Gu Qingfeng can present the token and be saved from matters. Gu Qingfeng respectfully accepted the token from Xing Shui. The guard who made the barrier earlier kneeled down and apologized to Gu Qingfeng for being disrespectful. He added that even though he's been too rude, Gu Qingfeng did not hold a grudge and did not hesitate saving their lives. The guard bowed and kneeled to him and told Gu Qingfeng that he was ashamed of his actions and told him to punish him. Gu Qingfeng told the guard that he should indeed be punished for his actions. CY looked at him worriedly as she thought he would punish her subordinates. Xing Shui stopped CY from interfering with Gu Qingfeng. He told CY that such individuals in their world cannot be offended by just ordinary people. Xing Shui said that it's not worth offending someone from the powerhouse for a guard. Gu Qingfeng told the guard that he will punish him with a fine of 24 taels. CY looked at him with a smile in her eyes. Xing Shui is shocked by what he said. The guard rejoiced with tears that he offered 200 taels to Gu Qingfeng instead of 24. Gu Qingfeng's eyes shined about what he heard. Xing Shui thought that what he said was nonsense, and told the guard what identity that Gu Qingfeng has that makes him value his silver. He told the guard to thank Gu Qingfeng for showing mercy. The guard did not think that Gu Qingfeng is a powerhouse, and if he gave him the silver it would insult the powerhouse. The guard immediately thanked Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng was in regret when his silver was taken away due to what Xing Shui said. The guard offered Gu Qingfeng 1 tael of silver and gladly accepted it. He smiled and looked at Xing Shui. Gu Qingfeng was thinking that the 200 taels was worth 10 years of his salary in the Demon Suppression Bureau, but Xing Shui stopped the guard from giving it to him. Xing Shui thinked if he said anything wrong that Gu Qingfeng does not want the 24 tael, and it was just a verbal reprimand. Gu Qingfeng told them that the punishment should pass. They think that Gu Qingfeng is truly a generous person toward a less powerful person, and his great sense of character is worth learning from. They stayed at the temple and cooked food for Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng enjoyed the food he was given. Gu Qingfeng wonders as he looks at them and realizes that their attitude towards him before and after are the opposite. He's afraid that if he wasn't a powerhouse that day, he wouldn't be alive. Suddenly the system showed and congratulated Gu Qingfeng for obtaining the adamantine body and fire mystery. The system said that the body will become strong as adamantine, with a defense stronger than copper or iron. It can defend attacks below the Kai gathering realm. Some specific data and skill still needs to be tested on the actual combat. However, fire mastery is as valuable as an adamantine body and can control fires just like the Flame Emperor. When encountered with enemies that manipulate fire, there is no need to be scared because fire mastery can control the opponent's flames. The fire mastery is the nemesis of warriors or demons that manipulate the fire. Gu Qingfeng cannot believe that it's actually powerful. He also obtained the bone of evil fire from the elder demon, which makes him more dominant. He is happy that his harvest that day is plentiful. The sun rose as it was morning and they were still at the temple. Gu Qingfeng grabbed his tools and weapons to leave the temple. As he was about to leave, CY called him. She asked if Gu Qingfeng was willing to return to the Wudong County with her. Gu Qingfeng stared at the beautiful face of CY and admired her beauty. CY asked him again and Gu Qingfeng said that it was his pleasure to go to Wudong County with her. She asked Gu Qingfeng to take care of her on the way to Wudong County. Gu Qingfeng and CY traveled together to Wudong County. They have reached the destination and Gu Qingfeng bids goodbye to CY as he must rush to the Genmo division. CY also bids goodbye to Gu Qingfeng and tells him to take care. She stared at him as he bid farewell. Xing Shui told CY that she has plenty of opportunities to see Gu Qingfeng. CY told Xing Shui to go to the mansion first and find her father. Finally, the day of the martial art competition has begun. Many martial artists and demon hunters will watch the competition. Demon hunters and martial artists of different ranks also came to watch. The first match of the competition will be Ixuan of the 7th Kai Gathering Heavens versus He, the 9th Kai Gathering Heavens. The competition began and Ixuan and He began to clash. People who watched the match said He is really lucky to be matched against the 7th Kai Gathering Heavens. It will be an easy match for someone like him who is in the 9th Kai Gathering Heavens. They mocked Ixuan as the match continued to favor He. People were talking that he was arrogant when he signed up, and cultivation level does not matter if you have strong combat power. He caught Ixuan off guard and pushed him off the ground. He wants to see Ixuan beg for his life for mercy. He told Ixuan that he had lost the match. He merciless kicked Ixuan's head. He mocked Ixuan that he should be proud that he can withstand his 3 moves. He pushed Ixuan out of the arena and told him that if he wants to defeat him he should cultivate for another 2 years. Gu Qingfeng helped Ixuan and Ixuan was shocked by the appearance of Gu Qingfeng. The next match will be Gu Qingfeng of the 3rd Heavens Kai Gathering Realm versus Lin Xiao of the 9th Heavens Kai Gathering Realm. Ixuan spoke and spouted that a gentleman's sword is hard to chase after like a galloping horse, and how can one's word be retracted? People are talking and mocking Gu Qingfeng about being in the 3rd Heavens Gathering Realm, and Lin Xiao must be thrilled to know that he would advance without hardship in the first round easily. They said that the match was a joke and a 3rd Heaven Kai Gathering and a 9th Heaven Kai Gathering does not match. They also mocked Gu Qingfeng for listening to Ixuan's words. Ixuan blamed himself for Gu Qingfeng's registration at the competition. A guard from the martial arts arena told Ixuan to leave as he was already defeated, and that the Demon Suppression Bureau has its own rules and regulations. Lin Xiao said that the heavens are helping him by matching him with the 3rd Heavens Kai Gathering. He underestimated Gu Qingfeng that there is no difference in defeating him or giving away points. Lin Xiao told Gu Qingfeng that he will lose anyway and it is pointless to fight. Gu Qingfeng told Lin Xiao that they haven't completed yet and don't know who will win. Lin Xiao proudly mocks him by saying that the result is still uncertain, and it is meaningless to speak now. He said that he will give Gu Qingfeng a chance to fight and show his weapon. Gu Qingfeng looked at him and asked if he did not need a weapon. Lin Xiao proudly said that he didn't need to use a weapon to deal with him. As he mocked him, Gu Qingfeng said that he is not someone who bullies the defenseless. If Gu Qingfeng wins against him, he would say he was unarmed and the fight was unfair. Lin Xiao told Gu Qingfeng that he can use any weapon he wants, and if he can make Lin Xiao's foot move, he will consider it his loss. He thinks that even if Gu Qingfeng is weak, he shouldn't speak arrogantly. Gu Qingfeng showed and brought out his sword. Lin Xiao was shocked when he saw the sword. The sword Gu Qingfeng brought is the Wooden King Sword, a mysterious grade spiritual weapon. It was crafted using the heart of the Emperor's willow from the extreme north, taking 18 years to create. All the audience from the arena laughed at him and mocked him by using a broken wooden sword. They mocked Gu Qingfeng that he dares to join the competition because he is a madman. Lin Xiao thought about what Gu Qingfeng said and thinks that his iron sword is a heavenly grade spiritual weapon. He added that their duel was the most exciting one. He thought that Gu Qingfeng distracted him by spouting nonsense so he could sneak an attack on him. Gu Qingfeng smirkingly told him that he was using a mysterious grade spiritual weapon and Lin Xiao won't say he won unskilled. Lin Xiao told Gu Qingfeng that he won't tell him that he's unskilled. Gu Qingfeng praises him for having a broad mind. Gu Qingfeng is the one who attacked first and told Lin Xiao to defend his attacks. The sword injured Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao held the sword and told Gu Qingfeng that he was a child playing with a wooden sword. Lin Xiao told Gu Qingfeng to stop playing foolishly. He held and broke the Wooden King Sword. As he broke a piece of the sword, it cut him deeply in his hands. The piece of the sword fell to the ground and a bunch of long stems appeared and surrounded Lin Xiao. He did not believe what Gu Qingfeng said about the sword being a mysterious grade spiritual weapon. Lin Xiao thinks how can he break free from a mysterious grade spiritual weapon if he is just at the 9th level of body tempering. The long stems surrounded Lin Xiao with nowhere to break free. It has held him captive that he cannot escape even if he struggles. Gu Qingfeng told him to surrender. Lin Xiao was still persistent and told him that his victory against him was unskilled. Lin Xiao was the one who told Gu Qingfeng to use the mysterious grade spiritual weapon. He can't say that Gu Qingfeng is unskilled. He believed what Gu Qingfeng told was nonsense, and did not believe what he said about the Wooden King Sword. Gu Qingfeng clearly told and introduced the weapon to Lin Xiao before the competition, and everyone in the arena present heard it. Lin Xiao accused Gu Qingfeng that he used the advantage of the sword to win, and told him that if he dared to fight in another match without using spiritual weapons. As Lin Xiao was complaining, Gu Qingfeng asked the supervisors of the match if there is a rule made that prohibits the use of spiritual weapons. One of the supervisors laughed and liked the humor of Gu Qingfeng. The supervisors agreed that there is no such rule made. Finally, after the supervisor said that there is no rule made that prohibits the use of spiritual weapons, they declared Gu Qingfeng as the winner of the match. Lin Xiao was released by the Wooden King Sword. Gu Qingfeng was about to leave, but Lin Xiao told him not to leave yet and have another match with him. Gu Qingfeng did not respond and only looked at him. One of the supervisors stood up and told Lin Xiao to step down and that losing means losing. As Gu Qingfeng exits the arena, Master He called him. Gu Qingfeng asked Master He if he was interested in buying his Wooden King Sword. Master He said that with his low cultivation level, he can't unleash the true power of a mysterious grade spiritual weapon and that he is willing to offer a price higher than the market value. He offered Gu Qingfeng 1,000 taels of gold to purchase the Wooden King Sword. Gu Qingfeng thought that the value of the Wooden King Sword is immeasurable, and told Master He that no matter the amount he won't sell it. Master He looked at him and was in deep thought of what Gu Qingfeng said. A woman who appeared to be also one of the supervisors called Master He Feng Hua. She told him that she already reprimanded Lin Xiao because the Demon Suppression Bureau strictly forbids attacking colleagues. She said that the next duel is starting and will go back quickly. Master He Feng Hua respects Gu Qingfeng's decision of not selling the sword and drops the matter. The woman's supervisor told Gu Qingfeng that she is rooting for him and Gu Qingfeng thanked her. He thought that she's helping him, and if Master He wants to forcefully snatch the Wooden King Sword, he needs to ask him first before he agrees. Master He Feng Hua told the woman to stop looking and focus because the competition had already started. Master He Feng Hua had an evil plan to make Gu Qingfeng willingly hand the weapon to him. Gu Qingfeng wants to practice his cultivation. He thinks that people there value their cultivation level. He needs to practice his cultivation even if he does not rely on it to enhance his strength and avoid problems in the future. A higher level of cultivation can expand his lifespan. As he was cultivating, the system appeared and told Gu Qingfeng that pure yang technique is the foundational cultivation of the Demon Suppression Bureau. Most demon hunters cultivate the yang attribute to better restrain the demons, as most demons are yin attributes. Gu Qingfeng has fallen deep into cultivating. The sun had already risen, and Gu Qingfeng just then woke up from his cultivation. He asked the system if it can increase his cultivation level and sarcastically asked the system if it was trying to make him become a muscle man every time it adds some strange attributes that contain either defense or strength. The system replied that Gu Qingfeng does not have any cultivation, thus it cannot increase his cultivation level. Gu Qingfeng is disappointed in what he heard and thought what's wrong being in the third heaven Kai gathering. The system said that the Kai gathering realm is merely storing the Kai of heaven and earth in the body and does not count as cultivation. Only if Gu Qingfeng reached the internal energy realm, converting the stored Kai into their own Kai, can it be considered cultivation. Only then, the system can help Gu Qingfeng grow into cultivation and increase their inner Kai. Gu Qingfeng asked the system if it can make an exception. Gu Qingfeng thinks that with his aptitude it would take a long time to reach the internal energy realm and increase his cultivation. He hurriedly left the room to participate in the next round of the competition. Many people are in attendance in the arena to watch the martial arts competition. Gu Qingfeng wonders why there are many people that day. One of the men recognizes Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng asked the man if he knew him. The man who recognized Gu Qingfeng announced that he had arrived at the arena. Gu Qingfeng was swarmed by all the people wanting to see him. They are all asking about the wooden king sword he has. All the people have focused their attention on the mysterious grade spiritual weapon. They are asking Gu Qingfeng if he can feel the aura of the weapon. One of the men spoke and said that he heard that only Earth-ranked demon hunters have access to mysterious grade spiritual weapons and Gu Qingfeng has it. The people who came to the arena kept bothering and questioning him. One of the people also told him to sell the wooden king sword to him and willing to double the price. One of the guards of the arena shouted and told everyone that what they were doing inside was a disgrace. The people stopped when they saw and heard the guard. The guard told Gu Qingfeng to hurry up and it's almost his time to compete. Gu Qingfeng immediately stood up and went up to the arena. The man competing with Gu Qingfeng saw the wooden king sword and thinks that his only chance is to finish him in one blow before he uses the mysterious grade spiritual weapon. The man attacked first, but unfortunately it was defended by the wooden king sword's defense. His sword cannot break through the wooden shield created by the sword. He was pushed back after he struck Gu Qingfeng. The wooden king sword defended Gu Qingfeng without even wielding it. The man ponders how he would fight Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng starts to attack the man. The long stems made from the wooden sword wrapped around the man's sword and reap it off his hands. The man was shocked and sat on the ground. As the wooden king sword attacks, he runs for his life. The spiritual weapon kept attacking and landing blows into him. The man was injured and couldn't withstand the attacks of Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng smiles and mocked the guy for being weak. The man looked at Gu Qingfeng and thought the opportunity to attack had come. As he saw an opportunity to attack, he hid round balls in his hand at his back to throw at Gu Qingfeng. He jumped and threw the ball at him and Gu Qingfeng was ready to defend. The wooden king sword released long stems to defend the attacks and protect Gu Qingfeng. The opponent's attack on Gu Qingfeng was unsuccessful, and his sword was caught by Gu Qingfeng as he landed on the floor. The opponent's sword was caught swiftly by Gu Qingfeng with his bare hands. Gu Qingfeng stood in front of his opponent to hand him his sword. He looked at Gu Qingfeng with a look in his eyes and felt that he was being belittled. As he was looking at him, he tried to punch Gu Qingfeng and said that he had gone too far with his attitude. The wooden king sword's power defended the attack from the opponent and got pushed outside the arena. The opponent laid unconscious on the ground as he was knocked out by Gu Qingfeng. Crowds from the arena have become silent as they watch Gu Qingfeng beat his opponent. One of the men from the arena jokingly tried to attack Gu Qingfeng. The wooden king sword defended Gu Qingfeng and wrapped the man in its long stems. It brought the man down outside the arena. The crowd looked at them again with disbelief in the situation. One of the guards called out Gu Qingfeng and said that he does not need a spiritual weapon anymore because he will suppress his cultivation to the third heaven's Kai gathering realm. As the guard was finishing his sentence, he was pushed out by the long stems of the wooden king sword. The guard was thrown so far away that even Gu Qingfeng couldn't see him. Gu Qingfeng sarcastically mocked the guy, saying he couldn't hear him because the wind is so strong and he's far up high in the sky. They finally announced that the winner of the match was Gu Qingfeng. The crowds again were in disbelief of Gu Qingfeng's trial. A man was telling Master He that Gu Qingfeng was shamelessly cheating using his spiritual weapon and there's no sense that it was called a martial art competition. Master He replied and told the guy that he already knows what to do to Gu Qingfeng. The man complied and said that he understood what Master He said. After the match, Gu Qingfeng sits quietly in the room to train his cultivation. Gu Qingfeng finished cultivating as he opened his eyes. Gu Qingfeng thought that the original owner's body isn't suitable for cultivation because after 3 hours of cultivating he can't see any progress. A man suddenly spoke and asked if Gu Qingfeng was in the room. Gu Qingfeng replied and said that the door isn't locked so he can come in. Gu Qingfeng gladly welcomes him and asks why he wants to see him at the moment. The man asked Gu Qingfeng if he knew that the other demon hunters and martial artists that joined the competition were protesting against him. Gu Qingfeng's expression changed seriously and asked the man clearly what he said. The man told him that the demon hunters and martial artists had already reported him to Master He to remove him from the competition. The man added that Master He is willing to help him from the protest. Gu Qingfeng questions the man if Master He certainly said that he will help him. Gu Qingfeng ponders that the man is waiting for him and him being boycotted was a setup made by Master He Feng Hua. The man suddenly said that if he was willing to sell the wooden king sword to Master He would help him settle his current issue. The man wonders by himself. He thought that Gu Qingfeng was ignorant and Master He Feng Hua just needed to make the situation complicated to make Gu Qingfeng fall into the trap. As the man continued to talk, he also told Gu Qingfeng that Master He Feng Hua will allow him to continue to use his sword in the competition until he becomes a yellow-ranked demon hunter, and after he obtains the position he will give the wooden king sword to Master He. The man added that he would not just be a yellow-ranked demon hunter, but will also receive a big compensation and Master He Feng Hua's appreciation. As the man was talking about the compensation, Gu Qingfeng grabbed him by the shoulders. Gu Qingfeng asks the man what will happen if he refuses to sell the wooden king sword. The man replied and told Gu Qingfeng that he will be prohibited from using the sword during the match and his rank will stop at top 4. He added that Gu Qingfeng does not stand a chance of being a yellow rank hunter without the help of the spiritual weapon and will only anger Master He. He tells Gu Qingfeng as he grabs him on his shoulder to decide for himself and think about the pros and cons of what will happen if he will sell the spiritual weapon. Gu Qingfeng frightfully removed the man's hands from his shoulders. The man looked at Gu Qingfeng confusedly as Gu Qingfeng silently opened the door. Gu Qingfeng looked back at the man and extremely told him to tell Master He Feng Hua that the sword is an heirloom and is not for sale. Gu Qingfeng bids goodbye to the man as it exits the room and the man thought that Gu Qingfeng was ignorant and a fool for not accepting the offer. Gu Qingfeng shuts the door aggressively after the man leaves. Going back to the arena, they announce the next match will be Gu Qingfeng of the 3rd Heaven Kai Gathering Realm and will fight Hu Ban King at the 9th Heavens Kai Gathering Realm. Crowds were gossiping that Hu Ban King was originally one of the strongest contenders of the competition. Hu Ban King being in his 9th Heavens of Kai Gathering Realm Cultivation, he could easily defeat the iron-armored demon. As Hu Ban King entered the arena, they thought it was a pity to encounter Gu Qingfeng because he was already half a step in entering the energy realm, but he had no choice but to fight Gu Qingfeng. They announced that the match had begun, but Hu Ban King told the people to wait, and that he had something to say to the judges. He was allowed by the judges to speak and thanked them for allowing him. Hu Ban King told the judges that Gu Qingfeng shamelessly took advantage of the rules and used a spiritual weapon to climb up the ladder. He added that the martial arts competition was held to select the strongest and respected person to become a yellow-ranked demon hunter they deserve. Hu Ban King pointed at Gu Qingfeng and said to the judges that he is shameless and cannot gain respect from others because he has no real strength and only used a spiritual weapon to fight. He requested that the judges will void Gu Qingfeng's qualification to use the spiritual weapon and fight fairly in pure strength. Master He Feng Hua asked Gu Qingfeng if he had anything to say about what Hu Ban King was saying. Gu Qingfeng sarcastically said that he only uses a spiritual weapon to avoid the demon hunters being discouraged in fighting him and that they all think that he can only win by using a spiritual weapon. Gu Qingfeng courageously said that what if he does not use a spiritual weapon to fight them? The crowd was shocked and excited at the same time. The crowd mocked Gu Qingfeng and thought that he thinks highly of himself just because he defeated some upper ranks. Some even say that they thought that Gu Qingfeng was just joking. Gu Qingfeng was disappointed that he only received discrimination and mockery as he only wanted to interact with them as an ordinary person. He told the judges that he won't pretend anymore and show them his hidden skills because he is in fact already invincible in the Kai Gathering realm. Master He Feng Hua clearly asked Gu Qingfeng if he agreed not to use a spiritual weapon in the match. Gu Qingfeng told the judges that he can still win the match without using a spiritual weapon. Master He Feng Hua ponders if Gu Qingfeng has another skill up his sleeves. The crowds were cheering for Gu Qingfeng to beat Hu Ban King and bring him to his proper place. Hu Ban King angrily said that Gu Qingfeng's arrogance has angered and excites everyone. Gu Qingfeng proudly said to Gu Qingfeng that he was just stating facts and not showing arrogance. Hu Ban King looked at him with rage and thought Gu Qingfeng was belittling him and was calling him garbage. Hu Ban King pierced his sword into the ground. He told Gu Qingfeng that he wants to see if his fist is stronger than his mouth with all the bluffing he spouted. Gu Qingfeng mocked him that he thought that Hu Ban King was good at blade techniques but switched to fighting with fists. As Hu Ban King was ready to attack, he sarcastically told him that he does not want to put dirt in his sword by fighting him. Hu Ban King took the first step to attack Gu Qingfeng and threatened him that he would surely die without a doubt. he extremely struck Gu Qingfeng in the face. As Hu Ban King struck him with a punch, the bones in Hu Ban King's arms were grazed and shattered. Hu Ban King screamed as he was deeply hurt from the punch. Gu Qingfeng looked at him as Hu Ban King was shouting and complaining about his injured arms. Master He Feng Huo looked at Gu Qingfeng and thought that the iron cloth shirt was at its peak and how impossible Gu Qingfeng did. The woman judge spoke and asked if there was really a genius who can cultivate external techniques from their world. All the judges looked at Master He Feng Huo, who stood up and was in disbelief of the current situation. Hu Ban King grabbed his sword as the crowds were in disbelief how Gu Qingfeng actually took a punch from someone at the ninth heaven's Kai gathering realm. Hu Ban King struggles to stand up after hitting Gu Qingfeng. They said that Gu Qingfeng perfected the iron cloth shirt. The crowds continue to gossip about how strong the iron cloth shirt is, while Hu Ban King ranges with anger in his eyes. Hu Ban King cannot believe that Gu Qingfeng is strong because he mastered the iron cloth shirt too, and it will be a hard cultivation that requires decades of effort. He stood up and thought that Gu Qingfeng achieved it out of desperation. He told Gu Qingfeng that it was impossible for him to be invincible because he is only at the third heaven's Kai gathering realm. Gu Qingfeng mocked him and said he could teach him if he wanted to learn it. Hu Ban King raged with anger again on what he said and told him that no matter how tough he is, he can kill him with his blade. He attacked Gu Qingfeng with his sword and a technique. Hu Ban King was shocked that his attacks were stopped and was told that he was overestimating himself. Gu Qingfeng held Hu Ban King's sword with his bare hands and without a single injury taken. Hu Ban King was in disbelief and shocked. Gu Qingfeng held the sword tightly and told him that nothing was impossible. As Gu Qingfeng held his sword, he broke it with his bare hands. Gu Qingfeng told him if he realizes that their power has a huge gap. He told Hu Ban King he did not want to use his true strength. And now that he has defeated him bare-handed as the third heaven's Kai gathering realm, how would he comfort himself in the loss? Hu Ban King chose not to believe that he lost to Gu Qingfeng and told him that he was just strong physically. Gu Qingfeng smirked and put his hands on Hu Ban King's head. Hu Ban King scarcely looked up at him as Gu Qingfeng threatened him if he didn't admit defeat. He looked at Gu Qingfeng with fear, but was also persistent that he won't admit the loss. Gu Qingfeng slammed Hu Ban King's body in the ground mercilessly. Hu Ban King stayed on the ground unconsciously due to the attack of Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng dusts off the dirt from his clothes. He told the judges to announce the winner already because Hu Ban King can't fight anymore. The judges announced that the winner was Gu Qingfeng. Master He Feng Hua ponders that Gu Qingfeng was a show-off on what he did to Hu Ban King. The people at the arena cannot believe that Gu Qingfeng was just at the third heaven's Kai gathering realm and was already so strong that they thought he should just use a spiritual weapon. Gu Qingfeng walked happily and waved his hand proudly at the people in the arena. The crowd from the arena thought that participants Hu Ban King and Bai Meiming had the best chance in stepping in the rank first because they were a step away from entering the internal energy realm. People are talking about Gu Qingfeng and how interesting he was. A silver spear was held by a man and wonders if his spear can pierce through Hu Ban King. At the temple, Bai Meiming is already training for the next competition. After hours of training, he got tired and decided to rest. Bai Meiming entered a room in which Master He Feng Hua was. He entered the room and saw Master He Feng Hua wondering. As soon as Master He Feng Hua notices him, he asks Bai Meiming if he has the confidence in defeating Gu Qingfeng in tomorrow's match. Bai Meiming told him that his spear focuses on internal energy, which requires steady thrust without any hesitation and lack of courage. Now that he has lost his internal energy, he can't possibly think that his spear can pierce through Gu Qingfeng's iron cloth shirt. Master He Feng Hua removed the cover where a spear is inside. He showed Bai Meiming a silver spear and told him that what if he used the spear to fight Gu Qingfeng. Bai Meiming asked him if it was a spiritual weapon. Master He Feng Hua that it is indeed a spiritual weapon called the Morning Phoenix. It is a yellow rank inferior spiritual weapon that Master He Feng Hua obtained during his early years, which he hasn't used or never been seen by others. Bai Meiming asks He Feng Hua what his intentions are for letting him use the spear. Master He Feng Hua told him that he was just lending him help and that Gu Qingfeng was a rebellious person, and if he becomes a yellow rank demon hunter, it will not be good for the sake of the common people. He thanked Master He Feng Hua for his help because not only does he have a chance to become a yellow-ranked demon hunter, he has also gained Master He Feng Hua's appreciation. Master He Feng Hua thinks that the iron cloth shirt cannot withstand a spiritual weapon and Bai Meiming just needs to use the spear to defeat Gu Qingfeng. He added that by catching Gu Qingfeng off guard will make him control the situation with just a single move. Bai Meiming consciously asked Master He Feng Hua if he would be violating the rules because they already prohibit the use of spiritual weapons. Master He Feng Hua told him that Gu Qingfeng was only the one prohibited from using a spiritual weapon because he promised he would not use it. Gu Qingfeng promised that he would not use a spiritual weapon, thus Bai Meiming can freely use a spiritual weapon. Bai Meiming thinks that Master He Feng Hua is deceiving him since he is the judge, and the competition will go smoothly if he agrees to using a spiritual weapon. If he agrees to use the spear, he will bear a lot of evil deeds. Bai Meiming wonders if he should just use the weapon to be a yellow-ranked demon hunter or uphold justice as a demon hunter. Finally, Bai Meiming decided to use the spear and told Master He Feng Hua to wait for the good news. The day of the competition came as the guard's drum rolled. As Gu Qingfeng was entering the competition, gossip from the people could be heard. They said that Gu Qingfeng surpassed the 6 levels, which equals to being a monstrous genius. Many demon hunters have started cultivating the iron cloth shirt, and now the book can't be borrowed from the book depository. Gu Qingfeng finally entered the arena as the crowds were gossiping about him. As Gu Qingfeng entered the arena, Bai Meiming was already there and was pissed off that Gu Qingfeng was the center of attraction instead of him. He wonders if Gu Qingfeng can still walk proudly after the match. Gu Qingfeng asks Bai Meiming if he will continue to fight or admit defeat immediately. Bai Meiming glared at him and told him to not be arrogant, and he considers himself as unmatched in defense. He added that with his spear technique, he can break through any defense. He told Gu Qingfeng that if can withstand his attacks, he would admit defeat. Gu Qingfeng mocked him, telling him he wants to be hurt through the process. Gu Qingfeng showed Bai Meiming his chest and told him to aim for it because he does not want his clothes to tear. Bai Meiming smiled and gave a thumbs up to Gu Qingfeng as he pondered that everything is going well according to his plan. Gu Qingfeng looked at him confused and questioned what fascination does Bai Meiming to stare at his chest and have to smile, and gave him a thumbs up. Bai Meiming was ready to attack Gu Qingfeng with his spear. The crowds gossip as Bai Meiming was allowed to use a spiritual weapon, but Gu Qingfeng was prohibited. As he was aiming to attack Gu Qingfeng in his chest, an extreme power exploded coming from the spear. Bai Meiming avoided the collision and jumped far away from the explosion. He smirked and thought that he could finally put an end to Gu Qingfeng. Bai Meiming looked back and was shocked by what he saw. Gu Qingfeng resisted the attack from Bai Meiming and was unscattered. Bai Meiming could not believe that Gu Qingfeng's body could withstand the attack from the spiritual weapon and thought that it was impossible for his body to be harder than the spiritual weapon. A golden light shield appeared and defended Gu Qingfeng from Bai Meiming. The crowds were amazed that he also perfected the form of the golden bell shield aside from the iron cloth shirt. Gu Qingfeng mocked Bai Meiming's spear technique and said that not just because he was wielding a spiritual weapon he can call himself self-created. Bai Meiming was confused and couldn't believe what was happening. He tried to attack Gu Qingfeng with his spear again. The golden bell shield defended Bai Meiming's attack again, and was useless. Gu Qingfeng sarcastically asks if Bai Meiming was enjoying stabbing him with his spear. Bai Meiming was shocked that once again his attack did not pierce through Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng was confused why Bai Meiming was looking at his body again. Bai Meiming thought that Gu Qingfeng was tricking him to attack his chest where he couldn't pierce through his spear. He thought that there was something wrong with Gu Qingfeng's chest and thought of attacking him again in another part of his body. Bai Meiming attempted to attack Gu Qingfeng again and pierced through the belly button. The judges were shocked after Bai Meiming attacked Gu Qingfeng. Gu Qingfeng held the head of the spear with his bare hands using only his fingers. Bai Meiming was frustrated that he couldn't land an attack on Gu Qingfeng. He was amazed that Gu Qingfeng held the spear with just 2 fingers. Gu Qingfeng took the spear to Bai Meiming without any hardship and asked him where he was aiming to stab. He told Bai Meiming that he was uncivilized and threw the spear away. The spear flew all the way back into the arena, and the people wanted to get the spiritual weapon. Master He Feng Hua was devastated by the situation. Master He Feng Hua ordered Huang the judge to award the tokens and the official status of the winner of the competition. Master He Feng Hua thought that if he did not obtain the Wooden King sword and the Ko Feng spear would be locked and picked up by someone else, he would lose a valuable asset for the military forces. Bai Meiming was frustrated that Gu Qingfeng only told him to aim at his chest and not the other body parts. Gu Qingfeng held Bai Meiming's face and reminded that he told him not to tear his clothes. Gu Qingfeng beat Bai Meiming's face and Bai Meiming apologized. He thought that Gu Qingfeng did not want to be stabbed in the belly because he didn't want to ruin his clothes. Bai Meiming bowed his head to Gu Qingfeng to admit defeat. As he bowed down, he accidentally ripped a piece of Gu Qingfeng's clothes. He was scared by what happened and looked up at Gu Qingfeng. Bai Meiming was about to speak, but Gu Qingfeng already kicked him in his face. They announced that the winner of the match was Gu Qingfeng. Bai Meiming was lying on the floor in tears from his situation. The judges congratulated Gu Qingfeng from being awarded to be a yellow-ranked demon hunter and gave him his tokens from the situation. Gu Qingfeng took all the awards and changed his clothes. The judge bids goodbye to Gu Qingfeng as she will attend to other matters. She left the awarding of tokens and the official status of Gu Qingfeng to be announced. Gu Qingfeng was awarded the Yanling sword. It was standard equipment for official demon hunters. It is made from high-quality refined steel and is inscribed with a small formation, possessing a certain amount of lethality against demons. A demon hunter token was also awarded to Gu Qingfeng that appears to be a token representing identity that also has formation inside. The token can capture the aura of the demon and gain information from the demon. Gu Qingfeng dressed himself with his new look of the yellow-ranked demon hunter, and was told to follow the guard to officially appoint him as a new yellow-ranked demon hunter. Gu Qingfeng was officially appointed as a yellow-ranked demon hunter after all the selection. The man gave him the appointment letter and congratulated him. Wang thought that Gu Qingfeng was still happy after he offended Master He Feng Hua. Gu Qingfeng asked Wang if there are benefits to becoming a yellow-ranked demon hunter. Wang replied and told Gu Qingfeng that he will receive a nurturing pill and go to the book repository to select a martial art. Wang looked at him as Gu Qingfeng was looking at the books. Gu Qingfeng went to see the second floor of the book depository and was overwhelmed by all the books. One of the men came to Gu Qingfeng and told him that he had 1 hour to choose a martial art from the books. Gu Qingfeng ponders that he hasn't got a chance to come to the second floor before because he is only a low rank, but he thought that the second floor in the book repository has fewer books compared to the first floor of the book depository. He looked around and picked a book to test his luck in martial arts. The man looked at Gu Qingfeng as he chose his book and thought that he is unique by closing his eyes when choosing a book. Gu Qingfeng opened his eyes as he decided what book he chose.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Leave a comment for the next part, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.